Well, certainly knee or hip replacement surgery can seem overwhelming, but there have been some huge advances in the way the surgery is performed and the medicines used to treat the pain.
In fact, for most people, it's an outpatient procedure, and the patient is sleeping in their own bed at night.
Yeah, Melissa Cole visited Uconn Health to learn more.
Bruce Mahaffey of West Hartford had both of his knees replaced here at Uconn Health this year, the left in February and the right in September. His labor-intensive career plus playing hockey caused a lot of wear and tear on his body over the years.
Years ago, I had a career in the building trades. I was down on my knees a lot, putting in cabinets and other things that kept me down on my knees a lot. That probably built up and built up. When you're young, when you're in your 20s, you don't really think about that sort of thing. You think you're invincible. Nobody wears knee pads.
For Bruce, it wasn't so much pain that bothered him, but stiffness.
I can only describe it as my legs would feel like they were two by four or 4x4 posts, and I just had no bend at the knees at the end of the day. And so for me, it was more about stiffness and swelling than it was pain.
He did a lot of research on surgeons and procedures and sought out the care of Dr. Olga Solovyova, an orthopedic surgeon at Uconn Health.
Usually it starts out as stiffness and pain in that joint that kind of starts gradually and isn't too bothersome, and over time it gets worse and worse. Usually patients see their primary care doctor, who orders an x-ray and evaluates them and then refers them to me.
So why is this a common thing as we get older?
Wear and tear. So the hip and knee are weight-bearing joints, and they're kind of the largest joints in the body that experience the most load. And over time, unfortunately, with millions and probably billions of steps over a lifetime, they end up wearing out.
Surgery today isn't what it used to be.
Probably 15, 20 years ago, patients would get admitted to the hospital the night before, they'd get evaluated, a whole bunch of blood work, they'd have surgery the next day, and then stay probably for a few days or even a week in the hospital, kind of recuperating before they went to a nursing facility. Now they come in the morning of, they have surgery, and probably 6 to 8 hours later, they're ready to go home. They've walked with physical therapy, they've done some stairs, but usually after about a month or so, patients are feeling pretty good, able to get around doing their day-to-day things.
And how was the recovery?
I've been told that I'm, kind of
A star patient.
a star patient. For me, the recovery was just incredible, kind of not like anything I imagined before. Honestly, after these two surgeries, yes, you have your anesthesia and your pain meds and all that, so, no, it's not a good idea to drive. If my life depended on it, I could have hopped in my car and driven home from these two surgeries. That's how much strength and flexibility I had in these two knees, and we're talking about 3 or 4 hours after the surgery.
Wow.
So it was an amazing start.
Bruce noticed after 2 weeks of physical therapy and being diligent about the prescribed exercises, almost all of his range of motion was back. He was even strong enough to go on a family trip to Disney.
We were down there for about 10 days. We averaged about 9 miles of walking per day.
Wow.
And at the time, I had the left knee repaired with surgery, and the right knee had not. So it was a very interesting kind of combination of how I felt at the end of the day between the two knees after walking 9 miles every day. And with this one, I felt pretty darn good. With this one, felt like I was walking on a 4x4 piece of wood.
Wow. So now, if you go back to Disney with your two new knees, you'll be just fine.
Yep. Particularly if I go back next summer, I'll have plenty of time for this one to have caught up, and should be able to walk 18 miles a day.
Dr. Solovyova tells us there have also been advances in managing post-operative pain.
The gold standard up until, I would say, maybe 5-6 years ago was to have patient-controlled analgesia, which was you were hooked up to an IV, and every time you had pain, you pressed a button and you got a dose of opioids. After they'd get that dose of analgesia, of the opioids, they would feel better, but it would be relatively short-lived, and if, God forbid, they fell asleep and didn't press their button, they would end up in wake up in a ton of pain. So now what we've started doing is kind of attacking pain from all fronts. For knee replacements, they get a preoperative adductor canal block, so that's an injection into one of the nerves near the knee, and that helps with pain for about 24 to 48 hours postoperatively.
After that, oftentimes pain can be managed with Tylenol and muscle relaxers.
I just want to, tell anybody who's listening that it's absolutely worth doing the surgery, and particularly this type of surgery. A couple weeks you're going to be moving around, and 6 months you're just going to be so glad you did it.
All right, to learn more, visit Uconn Health's website. It's a little lengthy, so we want you to kind of pay attention here. health.uconn.edu/musculoskeletal-institute. We're going to post the link on greatdayct.com as well.
Yeah,
so
you can always find it there.
But a great, in and out.
In and out. Oh, yesterday we had the crown with the dentist. You can go in and out.
Now you can get your knees done.
Everything's getting faster.
It's unbelievable.